Yeah, it's Friday. This is Friday's devotion. We're still in 1 Corinthians 13 in the context of what Jesus said to the rich young ruler in John 17, where he told him, you don't love enough, you love the wrong stuff, sell all you have, one thing you lack, and come and follow me. It's this one thing that we're looking at. If we just did this, the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians 5 reminds us that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, meekness, and self-control. If you do love, then those other things will automatically follow. If we love as we should, if we love God as we should, if we love people as we should, those other beautiful attributes will automatically follow this thing called love. Don't try and do those other things on their own. Just love more and watch what happens to the other things. They too will follow in the wake of love. So far, according to 1 Corinthians 13, the practical section, we found that love is patient, it is kind, it's not jealous, it's not boastful, it's not proud, it doesn't insist on its own way. Today, it really gets down to it where he says, love is not irritable or resentful. You see, the seat of resentfulness is found in irritability. You just irritate me. And if you don't deal with your irritation, it's going to become resentment. So there's a progression that he's indicating over here. Now, these temper tantrums and these expressions of anger and these sarcastic things that sometimes we say are all fruit of irritability or at worst resentfulness. We also have a passive aggressive way of dealing with these things where we just sulk. I'm just not going to talk to you. I'm just going to ignore you. I'm going to pretend that you don't exist. I sometimes think that's more destructive than any of the others. But these are the fruit of our frustrations, our irritabilities, and our resentfulness. We use our tongue to hurt people, do we not? We say things. You know that saying that says sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me? That's just not true. Names will hurt you far more than sticks and stones. And they're the fruit of irritability. They're the fruit of resentfulness. We're very quick to justify our irritability, by the way, are we not? We're very quick to find a reason and blame somebody for our resentfulness or our irritable nature. It's always the other guy's fault. People, the last of the fruit of the Spirit is a thing called self-control. And it means that, self-control. You've got to control yourself. Your response is basically, we say, your responsibility. So we need to learn, mature people learn how to manage their frustrations. They learn how to manage irritable people or people that might be irritating to you, dealing with their resentfulness so it never deteriorates to the ultimate, which is anger. We all know how anger causes so much damage. Yesterday, I said something to you that I would like to build on today. I said to you, when faced with irritable situations, when faced with people that just get under your skin, here's the general rule. We always want to respond and fix them, don't we? We always want them to do better. Here's what I'm suggesting. Do the opposite of what you want to do. When somebody irritates you, don't be sarcastic, be kind. When somebody freaks you out, give them a hug. When somebody says, just gets under your skin, treat them with absolute dignity, respect, and kindness, and you will cut any possibility of conflict. You manage your anger, and you become a happier person. Because when you deal with anger and irritability and resentfulness, you know who the beneficiary is? It's you, as well, of course, as the other person. Do the opposite of what you automatically are tempted to do. Now, that's a good practical hint for you to do today. But I have a wonderful example for you. Jesus must be very irritated with Peter, terribly irritated and resentful that Peter had denied him. After all that Jesus had done for Peter, and after all the time that Jesus spent ministering to his friend Peter, and Peter dumps him at the time when Jesus needed him the most, and the time when Peter should have stood up for Jesus, and Jesus was at Caiaphas's house, and they were mocking Jesus, and Peter stood there and he denied Jesus not once, not twice, but 3 times. And then the cockerel crowed and Jesus looked at Peter and Peter went out and he wept. Irritating. to say the least. Jesus should have been totally resentful. And yet we find this on the beach 3 or 4 days later, Jesus meeting Peter, calling Peter to breakfast on the beach. If I had called Peter to breakfast, I would have given him stones to eat, because I would be irritated, I would be resentful. But Jesus cooked Peter breakfast. See where I'm going? He's doing the opposite of what he would ordinarily, humanly speaking, be tempted to do. And he embraced Peter at a time when Peter knew how much he had failed, and he restored Peter with a hug, with a breakfast, and with the positive words, Peter, do you love me? 3 times. And Peter's saying, Lord, I don't love you as you know I should love you. I do love you, but kind of as a friend, not as I know I should. And Jesus said, well, that's a good starting point, my friend. We can move on from here. And Jesus did the opposite of what he was tempted to do. So, let's do that today. When people irritate you, people let you down, people can cause you to become resentful of them, you don't want to spend time with them, go and do the opposite of what you're tempted to do. Do that consistently and just watch what happens. It's crazy. I hope you do it. Have a great weekend, people. We're starting to get back into church again. I can't wait to get you back in the pews again, and we can spend some fellowship time together. But in the meanwhile, watch the services on TV. Keep doing your devotions. Don't just do this devotion. Read your Bibles. Pray every day if you want to. Grow. Have a great day. Cheers, guys. Bye.